Hi guys, welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be covering how you can add this cool little text effect to your videos. If we pop over to the program now, and if you can make sure that you are in the edit page, and I've already got my video imported, but if you haven't, go to File, Import and Media. And then we can drag it into the timeline there. And then what we'll do, we'll pop across to the Fusion page. And once we're in the Fusion page, we're going to have two nodes. We're going to have the Media In node and the Media Out. If you select the Media In node, and then select Shift and Space, and then we're going to have a look for Planar Tracker. We'll select that and add it, and now we can see we have this little node here. So now what we need to do is we need to find a little spot in the video, preferably where it's flat, where the text is going to be, and in this case it's frame 580. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw out a rectangle. I'm just going to use these bricks as a little bit of a reference here, although they're not perfectly straight, but it doesn't really matter. That's it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set the reference time. So now we can see it's at 580. And then we're going to select track to end, and now we can see the program's working its magic, and we can just leave that going. We can stop it wherever we want. And now what we want to do is return to 580, so we're going to press go on the reference time, and you can see it's taken us back to that point, but now we want to track before that. So track to start, and you can see it's going the other way now. Once again, we can stop that whenever we like. That should do, and then we'll return to 580. And now what we're going to do is we're going to drag out a text node, and we're just going to select the left button there, and we'll be able to see it on the left viewer. And we'll just pop across to this box, and we're just going to type in hello, and you can use obviously whatever text you like. I'm going to change the size. I'm just going to whack it up to 5, and then obviously I'm going to change the font. You can do what you like here, but I'm going to use Nirmala UI because that looks okay. Now we'll select the planar tracker node, and then over in the controls and the operation mode we're going to select corner pin, and now we can see this rectangle has appeared, but there's no text. So what we need to do is we need to connect the text to the planar tracker node, and now we'll have text. So we're just going to go ahead and resize this as best we can. We're going to try and make it so it looks like it's flat on the wall, so this is where you're sort of changing the perspective a little bit. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to find the pointed the video at where I would like the text to appear. In this case, I've selected frame 500. So we're going to select the text, and then I'm going to go across to the Layout tab, and we're going to add a keyframe on the center X and Y. And then I'm going to hit the Shading tab, and then we're going to come down and I'm going to add another keyframe on Opacity. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to frame 479 and onto the Layout tab, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to change the Y, and you can see the position is changed and the text is out of view now, and it's automatically added a keyframe for us. Then pop across to the Shading tab. I'm going to drop the opacity, and once again it's added a keyframe for us. So let's just have a quick look, play that back, and you can see it's slowly, it's probably because of my computer is quite slow at the moment. So what we're going to do, we're just going to make that animation a little bit smoother. So we're going to hit the spline, and then we're going to select the text, and then we're going to hit this little button, zoom to fit, and now we can see the keyframes. So we're going to drag across those keyframes, and then we'll select the smooth button. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to drag this up. That's it. And then get rid of the spline, and then we'll go back a little bit, and there you can see that animation's a lot better now. So now we want to do this at the end as well. So I'm going to go along to frame 700, and we're just going to do the same, but we're going to animate it out. So we're going to have the text selected once again, and we're going to add a keyframe on opacity, and then the layout, center X and Y, add a keyframe. Now we're going to go along to 720. If I can get it to 720. There we are. Dear me. And we're going to add a keyframe there, and we're just going to slide the Y along, and you can see the position's changed. And then over across on the Shading tab, and we're going to drop that opacity, and as you see, it's already added the keyframe. So we're going to grab the spline again and zoom to fit, and now we're just going to select these two keyframes at the end. That's it. And once again we're going to if I can select that, that's it, just drag that down. That's it, and we'll just play again, and you can see it's animated out. So now what we can do, we can add a little bit of colour to the text. So we'll get rid of the spline, and we'll select the text node, and we'll hit gradient in the shading tab, and then we're just going to change these colours. That's it, a nice pink. We'll select the last one. We'll change that to a yellow. And that'll do for that. Now, in the shading elements, if we select 2, and that'll give us the red outline, and if we enable that, we'll change that to a white, and you can see now the text's got a white outline. And then if we can select element 3, we'll have a black shadow. And what we can do, we can just mess around with the position of this. However you like. Right, and so what we'll do, we'll go to frame 500, and then we're going to add a keyframe in the offset. That's it, and a keyframe on opacity, and then we'll go back to frame 479, and then we'll do the same again, but we're going to drop the opacity, and the same with the offset, add a keyframe there, and then we'll come along to frame 700, and we'll do the same thing. So we'll add a keyframe there, and that's it on the offset, and then frame 720, add a keyframe and drop that opacity. And what we're going to do is we're going to select the red outline or white outline, and we're doing the same thing again. So we're going to select a keyframe and then go to 480, select a keyframe, and drag that opacity down. And then 700, once again, keyframe, and 720, drag that opacity down. And now we should be able to play that back, although it's very slow on my computer. And there we are, a nice animation out. And that's it. I hope you enjoy this. I hope this helps.